Okay, everybody. Good morning. Got a very special guest speaker today, Josh Adams from Owasso Main Street, who's going to share results of a recent survey. I found the results pretty interesting and I'll say heartwarming. But before we jump into Josh, I wanted to ask Emily Mara from the United Way to jump on real quick. They've got a brand new initiative that is actually starting up today. Raise Up Shiawassee Now, that I thought it would be good because of the timing for her to give a very quick update on what that's all about, and I will send out some follow-up information on it. But Emily, can you give everybody an update on what's happening?
Hi, good morning. Thank you. Yes, Justin. As Justin said, my name is Emily, and I'm with the United Way. And locally and globally, actually, there is a movement called Giving Tuesday Now. It's unity on May 5th as an emergency response to the unprecedented need caused by the coronavirus. So, of course, we have seen nonprofits needing more volunteer hours and individuals helping out. There's also other opportunities of giving back that may include stimulus checks being able to be donated to some of these nonprofits. So over the next 5 days, you will be seeing from your local nonprofits different videos or thank yous or engagement. So please, I do encourage you to engage with it back, give it a like, share it on your own pages. If you are even just personally looking on social media, make sure to send back the love, because a lot of the nonprofits here have been working on ways to thank their constituents and those individuals who continue to support them. Those of you who don't have any nonprofit that you participate in, I do encourage you to look now. If you'd like further information on any of the initiatives going on in response to the coronavirus right now, please do let me know. But know that our community is stronger together, and so many people are doing so many wonderful things to make sure that we're raising up Shiawassee. So thank you for this opportunity, and I'll hand it back over to Justin.
Thank you, Emily. And I actually just got an email from our friend Kim at the Shiawassee Community Foundation about this as well. So, Kim, I don't know if you want to add anything to what Emily just said. Well, if you are on, Kim, hit *6, or if you want to jump on later at the end of the call to add additional comments. So thank you, Emily. Thanks to all of our nonprofit friends. With that, I want to give the floor to Josh from Owasso Main Street so he can go over not only the results of this interesting survey, but also maybe touch on some of the other things that they are working on to try to help some of our downtown businesses in the area. So, Josh, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you very much for the invite to be able to come and share the information that we've been able to glean from this survey. Just real quick, Owasso Main Street, for those of you that may not know, we're essentially the downtown development authority for the city of Owasso. We use the Main Street model to community revitalization. It's a certification that we get through both the state of Michigan, their Michigan Main Street organization, and the National Main Street program. There are over 4,000 Main Street programs nationwide, around 40 or so here in Michigan. We're honored to be a master level Main Street associated with the Michigan Main Street program here in Michigan. So just to kind of catch you up on who we are and what we do, but we really wanted to kind of, well, this all started with a meeting with our downtown business owners. We meet monthly, but over this last particular crisis, we've been meeting weekly with a small group of business owners. We open it up to everybody downtown, but this particular time it was about 5 or 6 of us that met together, and we all knew that the federal government, obviously, and the state and the local county health officials were all going to have some sort of plan or layout of how to engage and how to maybe even conduct business as we moved forward out of this crisis. But the conversation sparked for us was, well, what does the public think? So that's kind of how this survey birthed, was just the idea that, yes, we'll all be able to open up sometime, and that time frame obviously is up into serious debate currently. But the real question was for us is how was the public going to feel? How are our customers going to feel coming back and shopping in our district in particular? So we thought, well, why don't we ask them? And that's really how this survey was birthed. So what I would like to do is just briefly go over each question that we asked and kind of give you the results for each, with the exception of the last, I think, 3 or 4. Those were open-ended questions that we asked. Actually, when we print this whole survey out, it's over 172 pages. That's how we ended up getting 1,605 surveyors. That's how many people took the survey. That was over a 5-day period. So there's lots of information that we're still diving through. We'll share a lot of it with you through Justin, but I'll go over the first 12 questions. And really, what we found was some of it was somber, but a lot of it was encouraging for us. And I'll just go, I'll just read the question and go over the results real quick with everybody. Question 1 was, once the stay-at-home order is lifted, how long will you wait before dining or shopping in small businesses? Out of the 1,600 or so people that took the survey, 42%, over 42% said that they will start shopping right away. 14.8% said that they would wait about a month, and then 32.89% said that they would wait a while. For this question, along with a few others, that we actually put an option for people to make a comment on, kind of go into further description of what what they're talking about. So when we put it'll be a while, we had some people drill in. We actually had 9 pages of comments on this, and most people defined a while by, actually I thought it would be months, but the comments are coming back of really between 2 and 3 weeks. People are willing are going to be waiting within that 32%. Now there were a good chunk that said it's going to be a month or 2. We had a couple 6-month outliers, but overall the consensus was out of the people surveyed, most of them surveyed are going to be within a month they're going to be shopping. 42% of them said that they would be shopping right away. So we found that pretty encouraging news. We'll see. Obviously this is a fluid situation for all of us. So these survey results, we'll see how they pan out. But it's encouraging nonetheless as we move forward now. Question number 2 was, once the stay-at-home order is lifted, do you think you will feel comfortable shopping in downtown businesses? 63.95% said absolutely they would. Another 26% said no. We also gave them the option on this one to dive in a little further with their comments, and very similar to question 1. Most of them said no, not yet. I'm going to wait 3-4 weeks. I'm going to wait maybe a month or 2. So it's good news. You hate to hear 30% say no right away, but that's why we love the being able to drill down with some of the questions and have people put their opinions in. It was good. Question number 3. Once the stay-at-home order is lifted, do you think you will feel comfortable dining out in downtown businesses? 48% of people said yes. 34% said no, and then 17% said other. And when you dive into that other, a lot of people really love the takeout and the curbside service, and they said that they would be willing to shop or dine in a downtown business or any establishment if the number of people within that establishment were lifted, was restricted. If the businesses reduced the number of tables or number of people, spaced them out a little bit, people would be more comfortable with that. So again, throughout this survey, this data isn't necessarily surprising, but I think it helps confirm a lot of our assumptions. One that was rather surprising, question number 4 says, what dining experience would you prefer in the months after businesses reopen? 53% of the people said regular dine-in service. They just want things to kind of go back to normal. 27% of the people surveyed said reservation only, and then just shy of 5% said private events. Let's see, question 4. Again, they dove into. We allowed them to dive into deeper detail on this one. The trends are similar to the prior questions. They love the takeout. They love the number of. They would love to see limits on the number of people within those establishments. Again, limiting the number of tables, that's going to be hard for a restaurant. How many people do you need to have eating and sitting in chairs for you to make a profit? So these are going to be deeper questions that we're going to have to ask our restaurants as we move forward on how that can be managed. But it's obvious that people would like to see that. Question number 5. Let me pull that up. And these were just kind of like little pop shot questions. We didn't have them go into detail. They're kind of self-explanatory. But would you prefer to see curbside options for restaurants to continue? Overwhelmingly, over 90% of the people surveyed said absolutely, we like curbside. A bit of a loaded question, I think, on our part. Would you prefer? Obviously, a lot of people would prefer sitting in their car and having the food delivered to them. But I do think especially for our district, the downtown, that doesn't necessarily have the parking option for that. It opens our eyes up to maybe, as a district, being able to provide that one way, shape, or form, because customers really like it. So we're going to dive into that one a little deeper with our restaurateurs downtown. Question 6, will you expect all staff to wear face masks? Now, this survey was taken before the governor's recommendations under her new executive or her new stay-at-home order. But 58% of people surveyed said yes, they would prefer business staff to wear face masks. 41% said no, it's not necessarily their concern. So face masks, people would like to see them. With this new stay-at-home order, we obviously have to. It's highly recommended that we do wear them. It's something that businesses might want to consider after everything is lifted. Question number 7 was: would plexiglass barriers at checkout influence your shopping decisions? Well, this one was a little surprising. 57% of people surveyed said no, it would not affect their decisions, while 42% said yes. So at the time of this survey, over 1,600 people that were surveyed said, the plexiglass barriers are not necessarily a priority of theirs, but it is really, really close. You're talking 57-42, so kind of split there. Question 8, and again, I know I'm moving pretty quick. I'll make sure that we send this info in a condensed version to Justin for you all to see. Question 8, would you as a customer be willing to pay more for the goods and services in businesses that implement increased safety precautions? 65% of those folks surveyed said yes, they would be willing to pay more, while 34% said no. So again, I think people, and we'll see, and I'll mention that later on in some other questions here. People are willing to pay more to feel comfortable, and kind of feeling comfortable and feeling comforted and normal is a big thing for these consumers that were surveyed. Question 9, would you prefer limits on the number of people within smaller businesses? The comments in prior questions kind of allude to this, but 77% of the people surveyed said yes, they would like to see limited numbers. 22% said no. Again, we don't know necessarily right now what our local health officials and our state and federal authorities are going to recommend, but if nothing is recommended, the public certainly would like to see some sort of action to limiting the number of people to make it safer in these establishments. Question 10. Pull it up here. Question 10, would you like to see more touch-free payment options available within businesses? 79% of those folks surveyed said yes, they would. 20% said no. Again, I think this goes to some of the comfort level that they expressed in some of the comments associated with questions above and further questions below that we'll get to. Question 11, while adhering to appropriate, and these are interesting numbers too, while adhering to appropriate social distancing guidelines, would you feel comfortable in attending a large indoor event? 66% of the folks surveyed said no, they would not feel comfortable, while 33% said yes. When we switch that question in question 12 from indoor to outdoor, so while adhering to appropriate social distancing guidelines, would you be comfortable attending a larger outdoor event? 69.86, almost 70% of those folks said yes, they would, while 30% said no. So again, places like our downtown theater, the Lebowski Center for the Performing Arts, from other organizations that are used to doing large indoor events, we would love to work with them to bring them outside and maybe help them find ways to still fundraise and do their yearly programming, but maybe in an outdoor venue of some sort, because it's obvious that the public would feel comfortable doing so. And again, I have to throw in, that's assuming our local and state and federal health officials would allow us to do so. The last four questions were open-ended questions. I'll read them off and I'll kind of give you a summation of what it was. Each one of these questions have 40 pages of comments on them. And we will provide you with these four questions in detail through Justin. That way you can dive in and see what you glean from it as well. We would love to see other eyes on this and maybe see what we can come with together. But question 13, since this COVID crisis appeared, what are some of the safety precautions you have seen in stores that have made you feel uncomfortable? This one was an interesting one. Again, 40 pages of comments. Really, there was not a theme that or one particular issue that came up. You had people on either side of the fence, really. Other people, a lot of the social distancing guidelines or the plexiglass, a lot of that stuff actually made people feel uncomfortable, while some others said it didn't. Obviously, some things that the plexiglass, the stickers on the floor. Again, I think in hindsight we would have done better with this question. I think we'd have refined it a little bit better, but because we didn't get a lot of info from it necessarily. But the next three we did. I want to read all three off in succession because they all kind of had the same theme running through them. But question 14 was, since this COVID crisis appeared, what are some safety precautions that you've seen in stores that have made you feel comfortable rather than uncomfortable? And then question 15 was, as a consumer, what is your expectation from small business owners to keep your shopping, dining, and service experiences safe? And then question 16, the final question was, as a consumer, we appreciate your loyalty to local businesses. Please share with us any other ideas or suggestions that you feel would make your shopping, dining, and service experiences more comfortable as we all navigate our new normal. Those three questions in succession all had the same themes. People overwhelmingly wanted to see sanitation practices. They wanted to literally see people cleaning. We got comments after comment of people saying, hey, I was in such and such store and I saw their staff cleaning on a regular basis. It made me feel really comfortable. Wearing of masks, face masks. We actually did some word clouds. We'll provide those to you as well. We did some word clouds associated with these four questions. And sanitization and face masks are some of the words that pop out the most out of everybody's comments. Really, another thing was smiling. We had a lot of people say when we, a lot of comments to the effect of, hey, we're all kind of freaking out here. When we walk in your business, we would really love to see a smile. We'd love to see a wink. We'd love to see some sort of assurance that you're happy and we're happy. They would love to see our merchants really, making an effort to make them feel comfortable, but also making an effort to kind of have the atmosphere of their establishment be lighthearted and kind of this understanding. Yep, we have to deal with this, but we're still the small business that you've always known. So it's that balance, right, of creating the new normal with these new guidelines to help people feel comfortable, but also bringing back that, making sure that we keep that small business atmosphere that is still community oriented and bringing people together. Some of the ideas that we got from this survey overall, from a program, and maybe you could glean it whether you're in a district of your own or you have the ability to do some of these things in your own business, depending on what type of business you have, obviously. But for our district, some ideas that we came up with is potentially extending and having more sidewalk sale events throughout downtown Owasso. We got a lot of comments of, hey, if everything were on the sidewalk, we'd feel a little bit more comfortable. And then also doing really encouraging businesses restaurants that can, to build out their outdoor dining experience a little bit more. People said in their comments, outdoor dining, they would feel more comfortable. So kind of bringing some of our business outside when applicable, I think will make people feel more comfortable. To Justin's kind of introduction, with what we're doing here as a Main Street program, moving forward, we're actually going to be, we already have developed what we've called a consumer or customer trust kit for business owners. It goes through some of the survey data and then gives suggestions for business owners and ideas for them to implement. I've also forwarded that to Justin to share with all of you to take a look. And then lastly, what we're going to be doing is creating what we're kind of calling a safe, quote unquote, safe marketing initiative. So we haven't quite nailed down the branding on it yet. It's either going to be Biz Safe or Downtown Safe or Shiawassee Safe, where it will be a marketing initiative where businesses can say, hey, we've listened to you. We're considering the state, federal, and local guidelines, and here is what we're doing to help provide a safe atmosphere here for you to shop and dine. And we want to market those businesses with that, that quote unquote certification. And we would love to see a cohesive one throughout our district. And I've been talking with Jeff Deason at the chamber. We'd love to even make it chamber wide and county wide, where it shows all of small businesses throughout the county are working together to best meet the needs of government officials, but also gauge and meet the needs of our customers too. So as we continue to lay that out, we'll introduce it to Justin and Jeff and share it countywide for everybody. With that, that's all I have. I hope you were able to glean something from it. It is encouraging. Some of it is somber, knowing that it might be a month and a half before things really wind up. But people are ready, and it's encouraging. They're ready to shop again. They're ready to consume again, and hopefully that will be sooner than later. Thank you all for your time.
Wow, Josh, that is some great information. I did just email to everybody the toolkit, which does have quite a bit of those survey results in there. I do have one question. I want to open it up to anybody that has one, but you said people are ready to go. I mean, what's the general mood right now with those businesses, Josh? We know they're on the front line. They've probably been the hardest hit by the shutdown, the small mom and pop downtown business. Are they hanging on? I mean, do you feel like everyone is fighting to stay alive? Do you see any closures on the horizon, or are they going to be able to hold out and get going when this thing starts up?
I'm encouraged. I think within the downtown district, we're going to have 3 businesses that are going to be probably going out of business. Two already have. Actually all 3 kind of have announced one way, shape, or form. But I would say 2 out of those 3, they were impacted prior to this crisis. So this was kind of the flipping of the switch for their business, particularly. Really in downtown, we've had 1 business that this is directly affected to where it's shut down, and probably for the foreseeable future, potentially. The other businesses, they're hanging in there. They're doing great. They're well, doing great is relative at this moment, isn't it? But they're really they're looking for guidance, but they're also torn on, how do they open and keep themselves safe? How do they keep their staff safe? How do they keep their customers safe? And that was really the premise. Another reason for this survey was it really gave us some of those answers on how we can do it. But overall, I can only speak for our downtown district. I'm really encouraged to see our downtown business owners kind of link up together, and it's been, they're dealing day by day like most business owners are at this time, but they're ready to go. They are.
And I think it would probably be fair to assume that would be a general sentiment across probably all of our downtowns in Shiawassee County, because I feel like our county as a whole is pretty much in the same boat here.
Absolutely.
Yep. Okay, well, I want to open it up right now. I do have some other stuff to update everybody on, but does anyone have any comments or questions for Josh? If you do, hit *6 on your phone.
Josh?
Yes.
Justin, this is Kim Renwick with the Shiawassee Community Foundation. I just wanted to say, hey, Justin, the other day you sent that list out of all the businesses and who was doing curbside and delivery pickups. I think that was wonderful. I've contacted a couple of them this week, had great service. I just picked up a gift basket from Apple Tree Lane. It was ready within a day. It's awesome looking. They will customize it to whatever you need, help you get ideas to put into it and deliver it. So it's a great service. I think if everybody can look into that also, help keep the businesses going till they can actually open their doors.
Yes, absolutely. We would like to start. We'd like to come up with an updated version. Right now, everything has been so fluid with business owners, especially for the last couple of weeks. Every time we put one out, especially with the dining, things had changed. So we're hoping that starting next week, we're going to get some more regular, consistent businesses store hours where we can maybe do some more promotion of the curbside drop-off services. We're hoping that it can become more consistent over time, obviously, as we kind of get out of this situation. Thank you.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, too, what Kim was referring to, many of you heard us talk about this. This kind of started as a personal venture for me. I wanted to use my own personal stimulus check to buy gift baskets from small businesses throughout Shiawassee County and deliver those to employers that we work with. And I've had several employers, mainly industrial employers, say, hey, we'd like that list because we want to do something nice for our people, for our workers. So I'm hoping that will help get more dollars into the hands of these small businesses. So we did send that list out. I think it was early this week, but if anyone doesn't have it and they'd like it, please let us know. Other comments or questions for Josh? Anything else? Okay, well, Josh, great information, great work. Thank you for all you're doing to support our downtown businesses in this challenging time. We'll definitely be sharing that information that you provided. Like I said, I've already sent out that toolkit, and I've already gotten a couple of emails saying great information, so people are responding very, very quickly to it. So, Josh, thank you for your time. If you have any questions for Josh or follow up, his contact information is in that email, so feel free to call or email him. So thank you, Josh, for jumping on today.
Thanks, Justin, for the opportunity. Appreciate it. Yep. Have a great day.
You're welcome. Everybody. Thank you. Great information. As Josh said, it's very encouraging. It is a delicate balance. I think people want to get reopened. They want to feel safe. And what I hear is that if our businesses take appropriate safety precautions, then there's going to be a much higher comfort level, and we can get going that much faster. So I think that's hugely critical. We've been talking about it now for a couple weeks, I did want to note a couple items on that. Number one, I did send out late yesterday. We got some really good information from our county health department, Larry Johnson, who's been doing great work. They put a nice document together. It was in a PDF form. I think it's 14 pages. Really good information. Just another great resource. Probably we'll even try to get maybe Larry on a call next week for all of you to be able to hear from him. Also, by the way, along the safety and reopening lines, very excited. We are going to have the CEO of Memorial Healthcare, Brian Long, on our call next Wednesday, and he's going to be giving an update on what they're working on. And one of the things that we're going to touch on that is also part of this process is going to be the issue of testing. So I'm very proud of Memorial Healthcare, of all the work that they've done throughout this crisis and what they're doing going forward. So that is definitely a call you're going to want to try to make next Wednesday at 9 a.m. So few other things to touch on. We are having another call today at 10. I brought this up yesterday, but if anyone wants to join in, this is for companies in Shiawassee County that have the opportunity to either provide a product or a service to help businesses in their reopening process. What we're doing is we're going to be talking to our friends from the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, specifically their Pure Michigan Business Connect program. This is fundamentally an online platform, a database platform for buyers and sellers to be able to connect. There's no cost to it. It's taxpayer funded. But the idea here is we probably have now talked with 15 or 20 businesses with Shiawassee County ties that have a product or service, and they want to be able to get it into the hands of businesses that need it. So this is like a concierge type service, a matchmaker type service. So we're having a call at 10 for those businesses that want to learn how they can access that and get into the system so they can not only provide that in Shiawassee County, but also provide that throughout the state of Michigan. So if you have not yet RSVP for that, but would like to participate, please do let me know. I do want to comment on what happened yesterday regarding the governor and the legislature. I'm not going to wade into the politics of what's going on between them, but we did get an extended stay of emergency. It's not a stay-at-home order. It's a emergency order until the end of May 28th, I believe. I don't know what that means in terms of opening, shutdowns, all of that. That is still in place, I believe, until May 15th, if I'm not mistaken. So that's going to transpire, obviously, however it does. But we are monitoring what is the business response by the governor. As she talked about earlier this week with the My Safe Start plan, they were going to be rolling out industries they could open up. We would do it by region. We're hoping that regardless of what happens between the legislature and her, that process will continue and that more businesses will be able to reopen over the month of May. We're getting every indication that automotive is going back on May 18th. The big three are going to reopen. I would assume if they're committed to that means industry as a whole will be allowed to reopen by then. I don't know if that's going to be the case or not, but we're definitely going to continue to monitor that situation. So pay attention, obviously, not only to the news, but we will share that information going forward. I have heard some concern that the closure of certain retail and restaurant establishments will continue until the 28th. I don't know if that's accurate, but hopefully that plan that was rolled out earlier this week, My Safe Start, continues, and we will have a process and timelines for business reopening. So more to come on that. Let's see. Don't have a lot on the money side right now. We are getting a few responses trickling in this week of approvals for round 2 of the funding from the federal government, PPP. So that's good. Obviously there was a big rush on Monday this week, so I know that processing is going to take a bit. We will continue to monitor that. Once again, if you are not in the pipeline, or if you are in the pipeline and need some assistance, please do let us know. We definitely want to be able to help with that. Let's see. A couple other things, and I've been sharing this information in some of my emails and social media. This goes back to the supply chain piece. But if any of our companies have those products or services that they essentially want to advertise with our companies in Shiawassee County, please let us know. We want to be able to share that information with all of our stakeholders. So actually, you've seen a few of these already. We shared some work being done by High Quality Glass, SLH Metals. We shared some information by National Composites. But please, if you have that product, once again, if you're not even trying to sell out state, if you just want to provide it in county, please share that information with us. We'd love to be able to pass that along to all of you. I think that's the big stuff. I will reiterate a couple of items I've been talking about. We've done some efforts to try to ask our clients to maybe shoot a video of your experience working with us throughout this process. We're trying to, as an organization, preserve some of this in posterity, to remember this time and the collaboration together. I do want to give a shout out to my friend Barry Paxton from Right at Home. He was the very first one that did a video. Barry did a great job with it. So if any of you would be willing to basically take your phone or take your laptop and talk into it for about 30 or 60 seconds, that would be greatly appreciated. And once again, just to try to capture that information of how we worked and collaborated together. And the last thing I'll mention, as I always do, jobs. I've been sharing several companies that are hiring this week on social media. I know our friends at Michigan Works are working hard to try to promote companies that are hiring, but if any of you need people, please let us know. So with that, once again, we will open up the floor. Comments or questions for our last call of the week. Hit *6 if you have anything.
Justin, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good. Go ahead.
Justin, Mark Agnew with Agnew Signs.
Yep. Go ahead, Mark.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yep, you're good.
I just wanted to say, listening to everything, I think it's incredible that our downtown businesses and Shiawassee County businesses, how creative everyone has got to get the word out for the products that they do have or the services that they can provide during this. I just want everybody to know that we were successful with the PPP, and I owe a lot of thanks to Craig Bishop at Chemical Bank for making that happen for us. And as of today, we're back open, full staffed, curbside only, doors locked, but doing all the social distancing and sanitizing and everything we need to do. But we've got the products that people need to get open. If you need signs, banners, lettering, floor stickers, we're making sure that we have all that available, and we're going to produce it as quickly as possible.
Thank you, Mark. And if you have a flyer or something, a marketing piece that you can put together, I'd be happy to share that with the group by email.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. Any other comments or questions from the group? Hit *6. Anything else?
I
got somebody. Go ahead.
Sorry, this is Kim again from the Shiawassee Community Foundation, and I know Emily talked about it earlier, and I just wanted to reiterate, we've got 18 local nonprofits that have come together to do a Giving Tuesday Now initiative, which is a global day of unity and Thanksgiving to all our local donors, volunteers, and everyone in the community. So if anyone gets a chance, go on their local nonprofit over the weekend, and especially on Tuesday, May 5th, which is the actual Giving Tuesday Now Day. We have a special video that all of the nonprofits put together from each of their homes and it's pretty enlightening and pretty uplifting.
Kim, I have a press release document here that has your name on it regarding this program. Is that okay to send out to the group today?
Sure. Yep. It should be going in the papers hopefully today, if not tomorrow.
Okay. I will make sure people on the call, you get that in your email inbox today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Any other comments or questions? Well, thank you, everybody. We reached the end of another work week. We will be back here on Monday, as we always are. If you need anything, give us a call or shoot us an email. Thanks, everyone.